All right. Let's go, let's go. The man with the plan, the host with the most. Mighty J.O.E. in the days of hip hop. Coming at you again. Before we kick this thing off, please like and subscribe. It's only gonna get bigger and better, people. All right, now let's get at it. Today I want to talk a little bit about Puff Daddy. Rumor has it he's gonna hit the halfway house in the next month or so. And with that being said, his release date is gonna definitely be bumped up, because I'm quite sure he'll be back on the streets in 2027 instead of 2028. He'll have restrictions, but still, he'll be somewhat a free man, back to getting back to doing whatever he do. But I'm bringing this up because really I think, he got a bomb deal, for whoever the powers that be wanted to see him locked up. Because if you listen to that shit, all the people involved was willing participants, man. It was, at the end of the day, man, it's a big money grab, and it seemed like they got what they wanted. And in return, man, he got the shaft, you know what I'm saying? But like him or hate him, man, he'll be back sooner than most think, And my question is, do y'all think he should have went to jail anyway? My opinion, no. Granted, he was into some weird shit, but that's just, to me, that shit is personal. You know what I'm saying? Whatever he got going on in his bedroom, that's him and whoever or whatever he doing it with. So, I can give a fuck less about that. And honestly, I just think, to me, man, this my theory. Ever since when he sued that spirit company for not really pushing his cognac, it seemed like a few months after then, man, all that shit just, that shit just went downhill for him, man. I mean, that shit was crazy. Everything was fine up until that point to me. But when he announced he was suing that spirit company, man, one day he was the ambassador for Ciroc for all that time. And when he got his own cognac, man, he said they really weren't pushing his liquor, and he decided to sue him. Shit, man, that's when they turned the dogs loose on me. That's the way I feel, man. And all this shit just came about, man. But it is what it is, man. Like I say, I just think that was bull. He got a bullshit deal talking about trafficking and all that. That shit is bullshit, man. But to me, it was all about money, man. All about money. And I guess the powers that be, they got what they want. But I'm assuming the worst thing for him, he's losing a lot of money and away from his family, And the crazy thing about it, he still got a lot of when he do get out, he's still fighting a lot of civil cases, man. Motherfuckers still at his pockets. So in reality, shit ain't over for him yet, man. He probably still got a long road ahead of him, but I'm quite sure, man, that nigga will fight back, you know what I'm saying? His money's still long, so and he's still making money, so I think he'll be all right, in that regards anyway. But it is what it is, man. Just you gotta be careful when you in the spotlight like that, man. It's it goes to show no one's bigger than the program. You know what I'm saying? You know, just because you got money, fame, and a little power, man, especially being a black man, you is not bigger than the program at the end of the day. You know, especially with these athletes and these rappers, man, these niggas get to thinking that, they start making a little money, thinking they can do and treat people how they want. Same motherfucker you seen on your way up, you gonna see them again on your way coming back down. Trust and believe that, you know. And you could tell now, man, just kind of shifting gears, man. To me, another example, rapper, Meek Mill. At one time, man, this nigga was on top of the world, man, balling. And man, ever since after 2018, his shit just peaked or stalled out, and ever since then, it's the blame game. You know what I'm saying? They ain't promoting his album. Academics, some way, somehow, was fucking with his streams. Talking about his streams at one point was 89% down because of DJ Academics. Like, how this man got that much power? You know what I'm saying? Come on, man. Your streams down because of DJ Academics? Nah, bullshit, man. That nigga, he may be the king of media. I'm quite sure he got influence, but over your streams? Nah. You ain't the man no more, homie. That's all it is, man. You're not hot no more. Face the facts, but a lot of them don't want to come to that term, man. Records ain't selling. You ain't doing no tours. Granted, the nigga got money. He did that last album, joint album with Rick Ross a few years back, but I think that shit was like 10 years too late, man. It probably was a good album, but nobody would check for him and Rick Ross at, 2024 or whenever, 2023, whenever it came out, whatever the case, but yeah, that album, that was way too late, man. They should have done that shit back in the MMG days, you know what I'm saying? But that was just, I think, a money play anyway. I think Rick Ross was just giving him an alley-oop because I think at one point, man, Meek was going through a little strain because I think he even bought a house from Meek that Meek had in somewhere in Atlanta. But at one point, man, that nigga they say he had an entourage of about 50 motherfuckers, that's a lot of people, man, to have around you. You got to be doing something for them. The motherfucker is only loyal as his last meal, you know what I'm saying? So, but my point is, man, I think you still have to be respectful and humble, man. And I heard things about Meek. I heard people at the label then say the motherfucker was very disrespectful, rude, talk down on motherfuckers. So now that he's not really popping no more, he got 1,000,001 excuses. But like I say, man, no motherfucker is bigger than the program. They gotta realize you on the label, man, that's the machine. They can help take you up here, stall you out, and you'll be back to the bottom. Either way, man, the motherfucker just push the button, your ass out of there. And that's the way I look at it, man. I think a lot of these cats thinking that it's all them. It's not all you, dog. I mean, yeah, you have to have good product. I mean, music that people want to listen to, but it's a lot more than that, man. And they and the labels are the key, like I said, But man, ego is a motherfucker. And these days, people are addicted to fame just as well as money, women, drugs, and anything, man. Fame is a hell of a drug too. You know what I'm saying? And when a nigga ain't hot no more, I think it's hard for a lot of them to grasp that. You know what I'm saying? And they come with all kind of excuses. You know. Putting the blame on everyone else but themselves. You know what I'm saying? No one want to take accountability when things start to slow down. It's always someone else's fault. You hearing that now from Lizzo. I think her last record only sold what 3,000 copies or something. But I heard you hearing the same song and dance with her. No promotion, no this, no that. But no real accountability. She's not taking any. I mean, I'm not saying that some of that stuff she's saying, I mean, it may not be true, but you don't never hear them saying it's something they did or didn't do to bring them, that's where their career is where it's at now. You won't hear that from them. Why, man? Like it goes back to what I say, they think they got it all on them. That's not true, man. Not true at all. You fucking with these record labels, man, they could get you there. You got the product, man. I mean, I don't care what it is, but if it's something that they like, they could push it to the masses, and shit be played so much it'll be stained in a motherfucker brain. You know what I'm saying? You have you on rotation so much that it make it a fucking hit. You know what I'm saying? But like I say, these days, man, artists don't have to grind like they did back in the day. It's none of that. That shit out the window with social media and all these platforms. But record labels, they not working with nobody. They if you come there, like I said, if your numbers are already up, you got a nice following or whatever, they'll throw you some change and they know you're gonna take it and they're gonna make it do the rest. They're gonna make it do what it do. They'll milk it for what it's worth until once you get cold, man, that's it. We don't need you no more, buddy. And you're in the red, you ain't getting no money no way because you ain't recoup shit. So that's how it is, man. But today I just want to speak on this motherfuckers, like, there's no one bigger than the program. That's just what it is in life, man. That's the way I see it, and that's the way it is. That's how I feel anyway. You know what I'm talking about? But like I say, man, I just wanted to tap in with y'all for a minute. And before I go, I want to say, please hit that like button, and please subscribe. Like I say, trying to get this site up, man. I have some shirts and a few things up there in the store, but I'll be giving out some for first few subscribers. We'll begin in the Days of Hip Hop t-shirt. So, man, just hit that like button and subscribe, and we'll go from there. Until next time.